Hi and welcome to my channel, everyone. Today I am so excited to bring you a journal I have been really pouring my heart into. It's using Ooh La La Vintage Treasures, La Parisienne Fashion Boutique Kit, and this is for my design team project for Doreen. And I'll show you a few pages of the kit. It's got so many pages I couldn't print them out and show you all of them, but just to give you an example, just some absolutely lovely digitals with the dress forms and the suitcases and the hats and lovely vintage fashion. The pages are just stunning. The beautiful pearls in the background. We've got some collage pages. Doreen's design aesthetic is just so pretty with the print graphics, with the lace, with the buttons, and it's just so gorgeous. And look at this one. I believe, if I remember correctly, the Pears soap she told me she took off of a vintage soap wrapper that she has out of her own collection, and a lot of the pieces that you see in her digitals are photos that she takes of her own items and collages together just so beautifully. I love this picture of the Eiffel Tower in the beautiful frame. That is so pretty. And look at this dreamy, dreamy picture here with all of the ruffles. And this one with the pearls and the satin. That one's just beautiful as well. And then there are pages upon pages of ephemera. Just gorgeous pieces to cut up. This door, I just absolutely love that door. It's so pretty. And some suitcases and hats, little train cases. So beautiful. And I cut up a lot of the pages to use as ephemera in the journal, but here's some leftovers that I haven't quite used yet. Out of that, let's see, this first page here, I cut the tags, the suitcases out and made a tag. So you can see how you can cut these up and customize on your own. And then on the top, I cut one of these out, the little hat, to make a little tag. And there's one page that has this lady collaged in the middle, and I took my die cuts and cut her out as a tag. And then on some of the other sheets, let's see, which one was it here? It's so beautiful. This one, I took cutouts of this part and ran them through my embossing and did some beautiful embossed pages. I think that looks so lovely. Did one with the floral, and then there's a page that has writing on it, and I did that. And you'll see in the journal I've done some where I've taken my gold ink pad and run my dauber over it, and then just lightly put it over the embossing to make the raised part gold, and it looks so stunning. So that is the kit. Again, it's called La Parisienne Fashion Boutique Kit, and it's in the neutrals. And this is what I created out of that kit. I just think she is so darling. It's got the pearl dangles. There's 4 signatures. And this journal started out with 4 envelopes of different sizes. So each cover of the signature is a different size envelope. And then I covered it in the digitals and then created the signatures from there. So I have not made one like this before. It's a new idea for me, and I absolutely love how she turned out. I didn't want to over embellish the cover because of the beautiful, beautiful digitals. I wanted to let those stand as they were. So I just tied it with a simple little organza ribbon, and we just double wrapped it. And she's a chunky girl, so I hope I do her justice when I'm showing her to you. So this is, let's see, did we print that one out? I believe I did. Let me peek here. Yes. So this cover here, I cut out from this page. So that's that graphic there on the page, and I made that the cover. And I just did a little vintage ribbon here, or lace, I'm sorry, that Doreen sent in her last Precious Bits kit. And I put a little bit of bling on the center, and I made a little dangle to go down there with some little snippets of lace. And then on the side, I just wrapped it in some lace. And then the back, I left very plain with just some vintage lace touches here and there, and a little bit of organza ribbon down the side. And I did some stitching on all of the signatures, will be stitching, and a little bit throughout. Now this was not bound like a regular journal. I used muslin fabric strips to bind the signature, and I'll show you that when we get to it. But since it's kind of an open spine, that's why I wrapped it in the lace, to give it a little more security, and you see a little bit of the rustic feel, but then it has the beautiful vintage lace on it. And this design was inspired by a video I saw by Kathy's Garden, and I will try to find the original video and link it below. She did a stacked 4-envelope journal, and I just absolutely loved it. But then I couldn't find the video when I went to do this, so I kind of just did it from memory. And when I got finished, it looked absolutely nothing like the one she did. But I want to give her credit because she's the one who inspired me to do it this way. So I love all of the little dangles, the little pearls. We'll open it up, and inside you'll see the name Jolie. And I named her Jolie because Jolie in French means cute, and I just think she's a little cutie. So here's one of the envelopes for the front signature. There's a pocket here, and inside I put a little glassine envelope and a little piece of one of the embossed papers there, and a little word card. Inside of each envelope, I lined it with book page so you didn't see the white envelope as well. She's a little stiff since she's brand new, but I think after using her a while, you'll see her loosen up a bit. So I put a little piece of an applique there. And then this is a piece of wallpaper. And I put a little tag with some of the organza ribbon. And I did some stitching around the tag. And this is a beautiful piece of wallpaper. And then I took a little snippet of some rag paper to make the pocket there. And in this journal, even though she's tiny, she's got a lot of writing space in there. I was really surprised by the time I finished. Like, you could write on this. This is a piece of one of the pages. I made a little flap so you could write on there. You have some writing up here and writing here. I did some coffee and tea dyed papers and did some stitching around there. And then I used my die cut, and again I used this beautiful page here that we've been talking about, and I put my little die in there and made a pretty little dress with the hanger. And then there's writing all around that. And then this is one of the pages, and I double side printed, so you have writing here as well. And then this was actually an envelope ephemera piece from the kit, but I chose to leave it open and sew it into the signature and leave it as a flap. So you could add a pocket to that, or a little belly band, or you could just use that for writing. And then a piece of vintage music page that I folded into a pocket. And I cut out one of the ladies on the first sheet that we looked at, one of the dress forms, and I just made her into a little tag. Put a little bit of fabric behind there, a little snippet, and I fussy cut one of the bows from one of the ephemera sheets and just made her a simple little tag. And then there's that beautiful ruffle sheet that we saw, and I did stitching around that and double side printed with the beautiful vintage clothing on there. And then this is a little foreign book page, and this came out of Doreen's Precious Bits kit as well, and I just absolutely loved it. I believe it's French, but I won't swear to it, but I think that it is. So I put it in the journal since it had kind of a Parisienne theme. And then you open it up, and in the middle of this signature, I ruffleized a piece of pattern paper and sewed that into the center. And then another piece of the beautiful printed clothing paper, and then I did the stitching on that and the back side of that ruffle paper. And then in this pocket I cut out some of that paper and made a tag, and I just put a little this is actually a napkin that I decoupaged, and I ruffleized that, put a little snippet of lace and a sweet little flower with some iridescent beads on there. And on the back, I just printed with some simple polka dots, pale polka dots. And I put a little piece of satin and embellished with some little pearlized gems down there. The digitals are so beautiful that I didn't want to over embellish. I tend to love to use a lot of lace and pearls and goodies, but I just wanted the digitals to speak for themselves because it's such a beautiful kit. So here again is another page for writing and another piece of her beautiful paper, one of the collage pages. And then this one, I did a simple little, what am I trying to say, organza down the side, and kind of ruffleized it at the bottom and put a vintage button in here that still has a little bit of the vintage thread in it. And then I cut a little snippet of lace to make a tiny pocket and put a little vellum advertisement in there. And then we flip to the next one, and it's the coffee dyed paper with some stitching. And then another little piece of one of the collage pages and the ruffle page. And then on this one, that is the back side of that piece of wallpaper with the beautiful rag paper pocket. And I did a triple tag I cut out of some of the pages. And then I put a little bulb pin with a vintage button in there that still has some of the vintage thread as well. And again, the little organza tag top. So there's plenty of writing there. I'll just tuck back in. And then we'll flip to the back, and then this is the back of that wallpaper and the back page of that signature. And I left the flap of the envelope kind of plain, so you can like maybe tear a little piece of like paper bag, brown paper bag, and put it over there, or a piece of coffee or tea dyed paper, and do some writing, or you could put a little belly band to tuck some things in. So I left a few areas for the recipient to kind of do their own embellishing and decorating, to put their stamp of their signature on it. And then I just did some little snippets of lace and a little tag there. And this is how I bound the signatures. So this is the first envelope, this will be the second envelope, and I just took a piece of coffee dyed muslin and put it in there. So then we turn, and then the same goes for that. You can put some paper on there, or your little belly band or what have you, and decorate that. And then this is a piece of wallpaper, and this is what I was talking about earlier, taking my my gold stamps and using my little dauber and just ran over it like that with it. And it gives it just a faint little hint of gold on there, which I think gives it a little vintagey feel too. And then on the back of the wallpaper, I took one of my stamps and I just randomly stamped around there so it wasn't completely plain, and it left plenty of writing space. So then here we have another one of the beautiful pieces of a page, and there again, you can do plenty of writing. You can take a black Sharpie or a black pen and write on there. And then another coffee dyed page where I did some kind of irregular stitching. And a coffee dyed doily. And this is a page from a vintage Sears catalog, and it's very fragile. So what I'm thinking is eventually, when it gets worn enough, it can be pulled out and used in other projects, or put little snippets here and there in the book. But I thought it just fit perfectly since it's all about clothing and sleeves and measurements and turtlenecks. And then here's another page with some stitching around the bottom. And this one, my bobbin thread came out. When I was in the middle of stitching it, it ran out, so I just pulled all of the thread out, and you see the little holes where it would have been stitched, which I thought gave it kind of a cool look. To line it all up again after I rethread the bobbin and get it back in those little holes would have been probably impossible. So I just left it. And then let's see, I'm caught on something here. Let me see. Oh, I'm caught on my, oh, I know what I did. I put my little bulb pin back in and caught part of my netting. So on here is another one of the beautiful pages, and I printed one of the pages on vellum and made a little vellum pocket. And out of another page, I cut out this advertisement, which I thought was so beautiful, and made a tag out of it, and fussy cut one of the bows, put some netting behind it, and a little piece of lace in there with the pearl, and then another little piece of lace with a little collaging behind it. And this is a little mini folder, which I think was darling, and it came out of the Precious Bits kit as well. So I used that, as did this little envelope, the little window envelope. Look at that beautiful page with the vellum. I just love that. And I just closed it with a little bit of lace. And inside, I tucked a little piece of lace for the front so it looked pretty, a little ticket, a little tag that can be embellished with some little worn shoes on it. I thought that was really, really pretty. And then here's a piece of that beautiful page that I had done the embossing on. And you open it up and you can put some blank paper in there and do some writing. So there's all kinds of little fun tucks and hidden little treasures in here. And again, I didn't do a lot with the pages with the lace because she is tiny and I didn't want to overdo. But you'll see a lot of embellishments like this with the little pin with the little lace snippets. And when we get finished looking through everything, I will show you from the side how pretty she looks with all the little snippets coming out. So this is another beautiful page with the word nostalgia. I thought that was gorgeous, so I just left that as is and just did a little stitching around there. And then the back piece of that vintage Sears catalog and the coffee dyed doily and the stitched around page. And another beautiful piece of page from the kit that I did some stitching around. Look at this sweet ruffle with the button. I just think that is so cute. And then I did stamp on the back of that wallpaper a little bit. And then this is the back of this signature, which will be the second signature. So I took a piece of paper that was in the Precious Bits kit, and I added 2 little tags that I cut out of one of the pages, and then I just tri-folded this and added a little collaging with some bling on the top. So there's plenty of writing there. And then the little tags just hang out side. And if you position that in there right, you see a little bit of the bling. Get that back in there. And then on one of the ephemera pages, there is some really pretty words that Doreen has printed out. So I took that and I put it in my editing program, and I took all the borders off of it and just printed the words out on some muslin and did some little collaging with some netting and some coffee dyed lace back here, and just put the little words in there. So I thought that was really sweet. So on the front we have her name, Jolie, and then fashion on this one. And then I just double line this with lace, just one on this side and one on this side. And I didn't want to overdo it because look at these beautiful doors. I just think those are exquisite. I just love that. So on this side, it would not be an ooh la la project without paying homage to Doreen, who is the snippet queen. She does the most beautiful lace and fabric snippets. So I just added a little snippet and I cut out the word ooh la la in her honor and put a little Eiffel Tower there with the little pieces of bling. Oh, there we go. Let's put that back together. And then that just looks real sweet from the side when you look at it, when it's all closed up. And then more of the muslin binding. And on this envelope, it just had a little flap on it, so I put just a little bit of lace, but I didn't fasten it down because I wanted the recipient to see the beautiful digital and have the option themselves whether they wanted to glue it down on the ends to make a little tuck. So that I left undone. And then another gorgeous page of that collaging. And then in here we have a piece of a square doily that was included in the Precious Bits kit. So I got that kit a while ago and I've been looking at it, and I take it out and I look at it and I look at all the pretties in it, and then I put it all back together just how Doreen sent it, and I set it back on my shelf. So when I did this project, I finally decided to break into it and start using it. So you'll see quite a few things in there from that kit. And this being one of them, that gorgeous, gorgeous paper. I love that paper. And then this, there again, is another little paper clip with the snippet that you'll see on the side there. And this is one of the ephemera pieces. It's an envelope from the kit. And I just printed it out. It's so beautiful. And I wanted to leave the digital mostly as it is, but I did, wherever there was little pearls on the print, I put little tiny pearls on there, and a little snippet here at the point with the pearl, and then I lined it in lace. I thought that lace is so beautiful. And then I made a tiny little card, a little journaling card, did some collaging, added a little bit of bling, did some embossing, and then I printed this on one of the pages that is in the kit. So there's a lot of writing there that you can do. So I thought that was really sweet. I love how that one turned out. And I think too, we all want to make our pages so pretty and add all kinds of things to it, but sometimes it can be about the ephemera and the little added touches too. And like, look at how gorgeous that page is on its own next to the beautiful doily. And then you add just the little touch of a ephemera, and I think it looks just so lovely. Understated elegance. How about that? I like that word. Understated elegance. So then we will flip, and here's another page of the catalog. It's got all about hats. I thought that was appropriate. And then a little short page that I stitched around, that I cut out of one of the pages, that beautiful ruffle page. And then I made a little tag and put a little skirt on the lady with lace. And on the back, just did some little snippets. I always like to make the back of my tags have some sort of visual interest as well. And then there's that Pears soap that we spoke about in the beginning of the video. I just love that with the doily in the background. So I did just a little piece of a vintage doily snippet there, and some ribbon flower and some lace and a little piece of netting with one little bling. And then you turn it over, and there's some more lace with a vintage button and some lace. And then this is part of that decoupage napkin that I talked about earlier. A little piece of mulberry paper and a little piece of coffee dyed paper, and then the embossed page from the kit. So I thought that was lovely. Tuck that back in there, and you can see the pretty stitching on the side. And this page I just left because I thought that could be a lot of writing, or maybe someone wanted to add their own lace, maybe make a little ruffly skirt and a little top, or put a little necklace on her. I thought that was so sweet. And then the center of the signature, we have this beautiful page here and a piece of very vintage wallpaper, and I had to washi tape it at the seam because it was very delicate. And then I did some stamping and left you room to write on there yourself. This is so beautiful, and look at how gorgeous that matches with the page. I just thought that was beautiful. So that's the center of that signature, and then we've got the beautiful hat rack with the coat rack with the hat and the little luggage. And then a little pocket here, and I've made a tiny little tag. I had just a little piece of a long page, and I just love this with the little carriage and the writing, and I just snipped it and put a little tag topper on there and made it a tiny tag, because even something that tiny I did not want to throw away. I just thought it was lovely. And then we've got another one of the envelopes from the ephemera. So pretty. I just put a little vintage lace around there, did the little collaging on the front, and you open it up, and I left this part blank, put a little cheesecloth, some coffee dyed paper, and I made a little pocket out of some lace, put a little snippet of flower there with some cheesecloth that I bundled up, and put a little piece of a lace and a bling in there. And then just a little plain tag that you can do some writing on. I thought that was super pretty. Tuck our little tag back in there. Look how cute that looks. And then some more of the page. It's really getting frayed around the edge. I love that. It's so vintage looking. And then on this beautiful paper that I love so much, I didn't want to cover it up. All of them have something clipped to it rather than glued down. I did do a little stitching, but I made a tag with a little snippet there on the paper clip. I rusted a paper clip, and then I cut this out from one of the ephemera pages. It says France, and did the little collaging with the tiny bit of bling. And this is a paper bag that I tore a irregular piece out of and just edged it with my ink. And I thought that looked so lovely. Just put that back in there. And then see how cute that is with all this other lace sticking out. I just love that. And the doily again, and on this page, another little clip. That pretty piece of vintage lace, I love that. And then I just made a flip out. I thought that page was too pretty to do much to, so I just folded it over, and then I made a tag out of one of the other pages. This is a piece of vintage lace that has been tea dyed. Little ribbon flowers on the bottom with some netting. Beautiful lace up here, the little pearl. And on the back, just a little collaging on the bottom with some pattern paper, and then some tiny little pearl embellishment down there with the lace and the embossed paper. So then when you tuck that back in there, the pretty lace peeks out the side. And then on this side, this was a piece of fabric that Doreen included in the Precious Bits kit. And again, I had been holding on to it for just the perfect project, and I believe that this was it. So I just glued it down a little bit on the top so it makes a little secret journaling spot. I absolutely love that. And then the back of the signature, we've got the word Haute Couture, little collaging here. And then in this pocket, I put a piece of paper to do some writing on, and I just cut a piece of one of the pages and I backed it with another piece of a page and embossed. This one was an embossed page. Just glued them together, and I made a little tuck. I cut the hat box and the hat out of one of the pages and just made a little tuck. And in there, this is again that little picture from the cover that was on one of the ephemera pieces. Did my little vintage lace tag topper. Carried a little bit of a snippet around the back there and tucked that in. And then this is a piece out of one of the pages as well, and I just die cut that with my dies and made a little tag, put a little piece of satin ribbon on that one. I love that shoe. That is so cute. With the hat, I just think that's adorable. And then a little, what am I trying to say? Clothing tag has a number and the style and the size and the price. And I thought that was just very befitting to go in there. So that just all tucks back in the pocket. We're getting to the back, so it's takes a little minute to get everything back in there, but like I said, she's a chunky girl, but I love her. When I got finished, I thought, oh, is she too much? But there was nothing that I wanted to take out. I flipped through her probably 3 times, and I said, nope, she's going to be who she is. There I double edged the lace, one on each side, did some stitching. It's got that beautiful Eiffel Tower picture, which I just love. The little muslin binding. You can see where I sewed the signatures into, and I love kind of the vintage rustic elegant look of it all. And on this one, I just put a little piece of lace down the side. And then in this signature, I sewed in a little bag, paper bag, and just left some raggy lace on there. And in the pocket, I've got tucked in a little journaling card. I embellished with some little pearl stones and some lace, and then a pretty lady, and left her pretty plain, and then a piece of the Sears and Roebuck catalog that I tri-folded. And this has gold-filled gents charms on there, and it's an advertisement for that. And look at, I love this. Look at these beautiful charms. $1, 85 cents, 75 cents. It's just amazing. So pretty. little pieces of history. I just absolutely love that. So those just tuck in there, and then again I left this one blank and just did some stitching. I made a pocket on this side, cut a piece of one of the pages to make a tag, and just draped some lace down it, put some pearls on there, added little pearls to the center of the flowers, and then carried the lace over to the back and left it very simple because this was too beautiful to cover up. And then I put a piece of vintage ledger paper in here, and I thought that was so fun. And then on this page, I have a little rusty paper clip with a sweet bow that I tied, and attached with that clip is a card, and I found some really pretty scrapbook paper that had all of the dress forms that I thought went so well. It says handmade treasures on there, which this is a handmade treasure, and in my heart it is anyway. And I put a little lace ruffle on the top, and another homage to Miss Doreen and her beautiful snippets. Some beautiful organza with the pearls, and some vintage lace snippets, and a little piece of netting with the pearl and the rhinestone, and then I put a little rhinestone on the bulb pin, give it a tiny touch of bling. And then on the back, I backed it with a coffee dyed folder that I did, and put just a little bit of lace on the bottom, so there's plenty of journaling there. And I just love, between the snippet at the top and this beautiful tied bow out of the vintage lace, I just love how that looks. Look how sweet that is. And then we'll flip it to the back side, and it's got that beautiful page, and I didn't want to cover the whole page, so I just put a little piece of dyed paper at the bottom, little snippets of some fun little fringy trim, and a piece of lace. And then I put a vellum page that I printed out from the kit, and another coffee dyed folder, little mini folder, is the center of the signature. And then this page, just gorgeous with the beautiful collars and the cuffs. And then plenty of writing here, added a little bit of the coffee dyed paper there to write on, and a little tiny snippet of some lace down at the corner. And then on the back side of that ledger page, I just added a little piece of crinkled seam binding and a tiny paper clip, did a tuck, just a fold over tuck with it. And this is a vintage check from 1912. It's got the endorsement on the back. I think that is so wonderful. San Fernando Valley Bank. It was for $50.50. So I thought that was really fun. Excuse my arm in here, trying to get everything put back together. On the back of that page, you could write on there if you wanted, or you could tuck another little page under the back of the clip to write on. Then on the back of that coffee dyed paper that was stitched, that I made the pocket out of, I tucked a little piece of an applique in there, so you can do what you wish with that. But I thought it looked so beautiful against that coffee dyed paper. And then I made a little book, little booklet, little lace swatch. So we've got a little piece there, a little bit of collaging and bling up there, and then some little organza and some vintage laces. And a little polka dot paper, and on the back, those beautiful collars and cuffs. I absolutely love this little page too. I think it's so simple. You've got the vintage ledger here, so you didn't need a lot on this side. And I just think that looks so, so lovely. And then we'll flip it to the back of that paper bag. I just put a little bit of lace there. And on this side, I tucked in a little bird just because I love it and I thought it was fun. And another piece of the Sears and Roebuck catalog. I love to tuck little unexpected pieces like that in there. Just a little bit of whimsy and just sweet. And then the back of this, the last signature, I put a full applique on there. And in the center, or in the pocket, I'm sorry, I did a tag out of one of the pages, tied it with a piece of vintage ribbon, did a little vintage ribbon ruffle down the side here. And I'm on the little locket, on the bulb pin, I cut out on this pearl page right here that we've been discussing, I cut out a little piece of the pearls and I tucked them in the middle of the locket. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then put a little piece of bling at the top. I love that. I love that vintage look with this gorgeous coat and all the vintage lace. I just think that's so simple yet so pretty. And then the back of the tag. Just tuck her back in there. And then it looks so sweet with a little bit of lace peeking out. And then again, there's plenty of writing space here, or embellishing space. And then we're back at the back of the journal. So from the side, look at how sweet she looks. Though there wasn't a lot of lace glued to each page, there's just plenty of lace showing from the side. The ruffles, the snippets, the little paper clip with the snippets on there, the pieces of appliques, and this beautiful, beautiful dangle. So there she is. I hope you all liked her. I just absolutely love her. I just played around with her for so long and just, I wasn't sure at first if it was going to work, and it was a different kind of a journal for me. I just hadn't done one like this, and I'm so used to sewing the signatures in and the pages and not doing the muslin binding, and it was just a little bit of a challenge. I want to get this kind of even so she looks pretty. But I am so glad I stuck with it, and I hope that that inspires you all to stick with your projects when you have one that isn't quite coming together and you want to give up hope. Just keep playing with it a little bit. Maybe set it aside for a few days or a few weeks, or even, you know, a month if you need to, and come back and revisit it, because it's your creation and it's your imagination, and I believe wholeheartedly that when it comes from the heart, it's beautiful. So there she is. I just love her. I hope you do too. There she is from the top, all the little peekings out, the side, all the little things, and the back again, and the side with all the beautiful vintage lace, and then all the little dangly pearls. I just think it's so, so pretty. So thank you for watching and joining me, and thank you so very much to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Oh, I might mention, I started out making her to fit in this clutch. It's from the Biscotti Silk Clutch Kit from Ooh La La Vintage Treasures. And my idea was to make this clutch to fit a journal in. And I printed this on some printable canvas fabric. and did a little embellishing here and there. On the back there's some lace and some vintage lace, vintage appliques. And as you can see, by the time I got her done, she is nowhere near fitting in there. You can get her about that far, but look at how lovely she looks just sitting in there. I just love that. If she would have closed, that would have been perfect. So my next project is to figure out what special thing I'll put in here to go with the journal. So back to my thankings. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of your likes, your comments, all of the new subscribers. You have really helped my channel grow. In the last couple weeks, I've probably added 100 people, which is amazing. So thank you so much. I hope you continue to follow along on my crafty journey. I will link Doreen's Ooh La La Vintage Treasures Etsy shop below. Be sure and go on and find all of her lovely digitals. And I can't wait to see what you create with yours. So I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. It is Saturday night when I'm filming this, so whenever you're watching, have a blessed day, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.